The woman who laughed at God, but fell to her knees when she saw the impossible. The sky over Flagstaff looked like it was about to collapse under the weight of heavy, dark clouds that afternoon. The sunlight barely pierced through the thick grey blanket that covered the horizon. Cold wind slashed across the deserted road, and with every gust, Amanda Lewis's old delivery van groaned in protest. Inside the van, Amanda rubbed her gloved hands together, trying to bring some life back to her frozen fingers. She was exhausted. Another long day, another set of delayed deliveries, another silent battle to keep her life afloat. A rented trailer, an endless stream of bills, and her little girl waiting anxiously for her at home. Amanda was a practical woman, hardened by life. Faith to her was like cheap perfume, something people used to cover up the ugly smell of reality. She only believed in what she could see, touch, drive. God, that was for other people, not for her. The road stretched out endlessly ahead until, in the distance, she spotted a figure. Standing by the roadside, wrapped in a tattered coat, an elderly man raised his thumb, asking for a ride. Amanda gripped the steering wheel tighter. She was late. She had promises to keep. She muttered under her breath, "Not today." But as she passed him, something made her slow down. A strange feeling, like the very air inside the van had shifted. A silent whisper seemed to echo inside her chest. "Stop!" Frowning, irritated at herself, Amanda pressed the brake and pulled the van onto the shoulder. In the rearview mirror, she watched the old man walk toward her slowly. He moved with difficulty, yet with a dignity that was impossible to ignore. When he reached the door, Amanda unlocked it without a word. The man climbed in and sat quietly in the passenger seat. With him came the scent of cold earth and wet leaves, but something else too, a deep peace she couldn't name. He smiled at her, his eyes so full of kindness that Amanda quickly looked away, confused by the unfamiliar warmth. "Thank you, my daughter. May God bless you," he said, his voice low and serene. Amanda forced a half smile. "Yeah, I'm not much into that God stuff, sir," she mumbled. He just smiled again, as if he already knew. They drove in silence for a few miles. Amanda tried to focus on the road, but it was as if the very air inside the van had thickened, vibrating softly, slowing time itself. Then the old man spoke, his voice as calm as the falling snow outside. "You always carry that drawing in your pocket, don't you?" Amanda's heart slammed against her ribs. She stole a glance at him, alarmed. In the inside pocket of her jacket, she kept a small drawing made by her daughter, a clumsy crayon sketch of two stick figures holding hands, with shaky letters that read, "I love you, Mommy." It was a secret, something nobody knew, something she had never shown anyone. She said nothing, just tightened her grip on the wheel. The old man went on, his voice soft but relentless. "You cry every night in the bathroom, hiding, so your little girl won't hear you." Amanda's breath caught. It was true. How many nights had she knelt on the bathroom floor, biting a towel to muffle the sobs, breaking down from exhaustion and fear, afraid she was failing, afraid she wouldn't be enough. Her throat tightened. Tears welled up. "What are you talking about?" she demanded, trying to sound tough, but her voice cracked. The old man turned his eyes toward her, eyes that seemed to contain whole oceans of compassion. "You think you're alone, that nobody sees your struggles, that no one hears when you cry out, even if you don't realize you're crying out." Amanda blinked fast, fighting the tears. "You are not forgotten, daughter. You have never been forgotten." She opened her mouth to speak, to demand an explanation. But at that moment, something changed. A different light filled the van. The burden of the road, of the bills, of the endless days seemed to lift. Even the air felt lighter, warmer, sweeter. Amanda turned to the passenger seat, but the old man was gone. The seat was empty, the door still closed. No sound, no sign he had ever been there. For a moment, the van was filled with the faint scent of spring flowers, sweet and fresh, impossible on that frozen winter afternoon. She slammed the brakes and jumped out, scanning the surroundings. Nothing, no footprints on the muddy shoulder, no figure walking away. Trembling, she climbed back into the van. She drove slowly now, stunned, breathing heavily, clutching the steering wheel like a lifeline. Inside her pocket, the folded drawing felt heavier, as if it were pulsing with life. Tears streamed down Amanda's cheeks as the sky darkened even more. And then she saw it. Ahead, a sea of red brake lights, smoke rising thick and black into the cold air. A tangle of wrecked cars. Amanda pulled off onto the shoulder again and ran toward the chaos. Guttural screams tore through the cold wind. A tanker truck had flipped and exploded. Vehicles burned wildly. People pounded on windows, trapped inside. Amanda froze for a moment, horror rooting her to the ground. Then, clear as a bell, she heard it. The voice of the old man, warm and firm inside her soul. If you had driven past today, you would not see your daughter again. The world seemed to tilt. Amanda closed her eyes, drew a ragged breath, and took her first step toward the fire. She didn't understand. She didn't plan, but somehow she knew she was not alone anymore. Her real mission had just begun. The smoke was thick and black, curling into the cold sky like a mourning flag. The road ahead was a landscape of chaos, burning cars, twisted metal, shattered glass. Screams tore through the air. The smell of gasoline and burning rubber clung to everything. Amanda stood frozen for a moment on the side of the road, staring at the inferno before her. Her instincts screamed for her to turn back, to save herself. But deeper than fear, a voice, calm and undeniable, filled her heart. If you had driven past today, you would not see your daughter again. Amanda took a deep breath, feeling her legs move before her mind could catch up. She ran to the back of her delivery van and yanked open the doors. Inside were several large jugs of drinking water, scheduled for a school delivery that would never happen now. Without thinking, she grabbed a hose, rigged it to the largest jug, and sprinted toward the flames. The first car she reached was engulfed in fire. Inside, a young mother pounded weakly on the window, a toddler crying hysterically in the back seat. Amanda didn't hesitate. She aimed the hose, spraying desperately. The water hissed and steamed as it hit the flames. Piece by piece, the fire receded, enough for her to smash the side window with a tire iron from her van. The mother sobbed as Amanda pulled her out by the arms. Coughing and gasping, the child cradled tightly against her chest. "Thank you. Oh my God, thank you," the woman choked out, tears mixing with soot on her face. Amanda didn't stop to answer. She turned to the next car. An elderly man was trapped behind a twisted door. Flames licked the sides of the vehicle. Amanda sprayed water furiously while pulling at the bent metal with bare, burning hands. Somehow, impossibly, the door gave way. She helped the man stagger out, his legs trembling. At one point, Amanda slipped on the wet asphalt, skinning her palms, but she scrambled back up, heart pounding. Family after family, child after child. Each face she saved imprinted itself onto her soul like a sacred mark. There were hands reaching for her, voices screaming her name, people she had never met, clinging to her as their last hope. The water should have run out. Amanda knew it. She felt the last jug sloshing empty, but when she aimed the hose again, water poured forth, cold, steady, strong. It was as if the heavens themselves refused to let it end. The firefighters arrived at last, sirens wailing, lights flashing. They rushed forward, expecting to find a rescue team already at work. Instead, they found survivors gathering, trembling and coughing, pointing at one single figure, her. Amanda, kneeling on the scorched ground covered in blood, soot and ash, her hands burned, her clothes torn, her hair matted to her forehead. "Who saved you?" a firefighter asked urgently. The survivors answered almost in unison. "Her. Only her." The firefighters stared wide-eyed. "Just her? Just her?" They approached Amanda slowly, as if nearing something holy. One knelt beside her, his voice trembling. "Who helped you save them? Was there a team?" Amanda lifted her tear-streaked face to the sky, her lips trembling. "God," she whispered. "And his angels." Tears welled up in the firefighter's eyes. He removed his helmet and placed it on the ground in reverence. The television crews arrived soon after. One reporter broadcasting live captured the miracle unfolding. He pointed his camera at Amanda's hose, still spraying strong, clear water, and gasped, "The water continues to flow. Even though the jugs are empty, there's no natural explanation. This is a miracle. God is here." Viewers across the country watched in silence, many weeping in their living rooms. Parents hugged their children tighter, strangers bowed their heads in prayer. Meanwhile, Amanda, the skeptic, the hardened heart, knelt there among the broken and the burning, her body shaking. She looked at her hands, blistered and bleeding. She looked at the faces she had pulled from the flames, mothers clutching children, fathers embracing sons, elderly couples leaning on each other to stand. She understood, through brokenness, through fire, through fear. She had been used for something bigger than herself. Amanda fell to her knees fully now, burying her face in her blackened hands. "Forgive me, God," she sobbed. "Forgive me for doubting. Today, you showed me you were real. Today, you sent your angel to wake me up. Today, you saved me so I could save them. Thank you. Thank you for not giving up on me." Far away in her small trailer, her parents clutched her daughter tightly as they watched the news, their own tears soaking into the child's hair. Amanda Lewis, the delivery woman who once believed she was alone, was now a witness to the unimaginable. And a whole world watched as one woman proved that sometimes the impossible is just God's way of reminding us He is closer than we think. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to hear more real stories of faith, hope, and miracles.